In front of us is the agenda for the regular meeting council held on Tuesday, May 26th at 7 p.m. For those in attendance online, just need you to be aware that our meetings are recorded for public viewing and placed on a public website, also for the gallery in the building today. We will call to order with an acknowledgement that we are on the unceded First Nations land on the Hattesac Chiniki territory. And
motion to approve the agenda.
Perfect, thanks.
Second.
We do have a couple of additions to our in camera, and so I'd like to alter the agenda that we can to, under the council go in camera, to include sections 91C, labor relations and other employee relations, and 91I, the receipt of advice that's subject to solicitor client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. So if we could do that agenda as amended, that's okay with everybody?
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that's carried. All right.
Motion to adopt the minutes of the May 12th, 2026 special meeting council.
Second.
Any errors or omissions that anyone saw? Anything they want to discuss? Seeing all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried as well. I need business arising from them. Seeing none. Delegations and petitions. So Sergeant Aaron Stevenson from the Port McNeill Detachment has included a report in this agenda about the 2025 statistics and the 2025-26 annual performance plan. There's a written report included and some stats for us. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate that. I'll give you the opportunity to make any comments if you'd like to, and then we'll get council to see if they have any questions. Does that sound like a good plan going forward?
Sure, that sounds good to me.
Perfect. So we do have Councillor Barb Lewis here in the room, and Councillor Justin Janice in the room as well, and Councillor Deck is here via Zoom with you. So that's the introductions kind of, and yeah, is there anything you'd like to say before we ask any questions or anything, or?
No comments in particular. I just want to make sure that everybody in your village is aware that with FIFA 2026 quickly approaching, you may not see us out there quite as frequently. We've got a couple of members that are being seconded to that for actually some pretty extensive periods of time. So we're going to be running a little bit short here. We will try and get out there and still make our patrols and our meet and greets with everybody in the community. But yeah, just bear with us as we try and work through FIFA. We're not the only detachment either. It's kind of island-wide and province-wide, to be honest. So everybody's running a little bit short. We're having to, I guess, just kind of tighten up what we're doing here and trying to. We're doing the best we can.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And then and so the dates that those affect is from, oh, I can't remember. Can you tell me?
Well, for
Mid-June
pretty much
to
all
the
of
end
June.
Oh.
I think it starts June 9th.
Okay.
Through to July 23rd is what our detachments are expected to release members for deployment on. Our detachment's releasing members for 11 out of 16 deployments, and that's 2 members from our tiny detachment of currently 10. So you can see we're going to be a little bit strapped for resources for that time period, but we will still try and persevere and get through there. We still should hopefully have members going through to Cayucot, and they'll stop in as well. And yeah, and obviously calls for service we'll respond to as usual.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. So after reading the report, does council have any questions or comments on the report, either the report or the statistics? Anything further you'd like to know? Yeah, it's a pretty comprehensive report, so we appreciate that. And we also appreciate all the little bits and pieces that are specific to Zeballos, as well as what's going on with your detachment as a whole.
That's great. Is there anything that, as far as our annual performance plan moving forward, that you folks would like to see us focus on? I think I've covered everything. We're kind of going to stick with the same plan that we had last year. It seemed to be pretty effective. We still have our prolific offender program. I know you guys have a couple of targets there for us in your community that we're working on. Traffic's always a big concern, coming in and out of your community mostly. We will be focusing on that, and obviously community attendance and visibility for us. So yeah, if there's anything that you would like to see us focus on a little bit more in depth, feel free to just let me know now, or if you want to discuss it, or if anybody's got ideas throughout the year, by all means, let me know, and we can discuss it and see if we can put that into our plan as well.
Perfect, thank you for that. So Councillor Deck has a question, and then I see that Councillor Janice has one after.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Sergeant, for coming. The only thing I'd like to see is your patrols at different times of the day. So our certain people there don't know when you're coming and keeps them on their toes. But thank you for the rest of your work.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for that, Councillor Deck. Councillor Janice.
Hello, so the only thing I wanted to include, we do have a bylaw that allows for quads and ATVs and whatnot to use our roads. You're probably aware of that, right?
Yes.
So it's getting abused, and there's a lot of dirt bikes and electric vehicles of sorts, and some very fast people and no helmets, and I just worry about that, because I know people expect the ATVs to be on the road, but not in the way they're doing it. And I just hope that that's understood. Thank you.
So we can certainly, what I would ask is if you guys could send me your most up-to-date copy of your bylaws regarding the usage of the ATVs, just so I'm sure that we're current. And then what I would propose is, do you guys have a village newsletter that comes out? So what we could do is do a reminder of the rules that are associated with those. I don't want to just have our members come in there and start cracking down on everybody in the community, because that's I would prefer education versus enforcement at this point, especially in a community of 140 people, or I think 141 at this point. I would rather education at this point. So if we could start with some sort of a public announcement or public reminder of what the rules are and what the expectations are regarding that permit, and then if it's still being abused, or no matter what, actually, if we're in town, we will start looking at ways to enforce it. Obviously, you're aware of the challenges when we roll into town with a marked police vehicle. Everybody knows that they're not going to be riding around. So
Definitely.
those bylaws that allow people to drive around on UTVs in towns and villages they're always difficult for me. It always ends up turning into a slippery slope in my experience, but we can do our best to manage that and just do a reminder for everybody to,
Sure.
They still have to obey certain rules.
In our bylaw, they have to be plated and insured, and
That's the law. Yeah, like we can't bypass the law. It's at the end of the day, a bylaw is not going to trump the law. So yeah, it has to be an insurable vehicle. You still have to wear a helmet. That's the Motor Vehicle Act. So and that would be the kind of thing that we're going to try and remind people of. You still have to wear your helmet. You still have to be of age to drive. You still have, like, it's, you can't be a 14-year-old ripping around on an ATV or a UTV out there. So what I can do is I've got some pretty switched on traffic members here. We could put together a kind of a reminder, an enforcement guide, or that would assist people in following the rules and remind them of the rules. And then we can start educating people. And if they're not getting the message, then we can look towards enforcement. Sure. If that's agreeable to you guys, I can come in and have everybody come in and just start throwing tickets around, but I don't think that's an effective way to do that at this point.
You know, also, sir, the bylaw we made was actually because we were anticipating a trail coming through here from
Mhm.
Tassus.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we can't clean things up, I would suggest probably to council here that we just pull the bylaw and because it's causing too much trouble. And
Yeah.
that trail is not going to happen now.
Yeah, well, I think that would be something you guys have to discuss with your, within
Sure.
your council, yeah.
Of course.
Thank you for answering to that. So just to kind of connect those pieces, you said that you would get something from your detachment about that, and that our staff would be instructed to get our most current bylaw to you. So that's the staff to staff kind of direction, yeah? Thank
Let's
you.
start with that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that. Anything else on this one, folks? Really appreciate your commitment to service, the members that you have and the outreach that you've done. And thank you for being here this evening and making the time for us. We really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
All
Are you
right,
guys done with, are you done with me?
thanks so much. Yeah, and have a pleasant
You can
evening.
go.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right, take care.
Folks, so that is done. We're gonna move on to correspondence. Thank goodness that Councillor Deck is here. I'm gonna leave. I'm conflicted. You would like it as part of our NTC organization that I work for. So after maybe Councillor Denise is the chair just for this one item. And then let me know when I come back in. Or when I can come back in, I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Lock the door.
So, any discussion on this, anybody? Anything bad stuff or?
No.
No. I think we do this every year, so
Yeah.
I don't see any difference. From years past,
Got me with recommendation.
if you want, like,
Recommend that a donation of $3.98 be given to the University of Victoria to send a child to the 2026 science camp.
I second it. Call the question? Okay.
Okay. So next on the agenda is the response from Honorable John Thompson, Minister of Fisheries, to their MLA. This is here. This is here kind of as just, you know, information. If there's any kind of work that we want to do further on this, then that is something that we could decide to do. However, you've got the letter that was sent and the is included in here. And also one from Mayor Corbett, Labatt. So those are included for discussion if we need, if that's something we want to pursue further, or you think that that's just here for information, really. I don't think there's much that we can do except for advocate, so,
See what they decide.
yeah. I appreciate you including those in here so that we could tell you if we wanted to pen another response, but, yeah, it's in process, right? So, was there anything you needed from us to, you just said received and done? Perfect, thank you to staff. National Dental Care Day proclamation request. So we get lots of these proclamation requests and staff has provided us some options here about what to do. There are many of them that come across our desks through our emails, all of that. And I think that what staff wants to do is have some direction from us. So there is no framework, there is no policy in it right now. There's no real financial impact except for we are at a minimal capacity level, and all of these things, you know, we can include them in the agenda till we decide not to, or we decide to, or we do every single proclamation that they come across their desk, but without a policy to guide them. I think they're just looking for direction. So, yeah, there's a recommended motion in here, and a recommendation from staff on how to deal with it. I think there was 3 options that were given to us. Do a policy development, continue the current approach, which is just case by case, and then decline. And so, yeah, it's up for discussion for council.
Yeah, I'd make that motion under option 1. That council direct staff to develop a proclamation policy for council's consideration. I think we need more of this.
Second that.
Perfect, thank you, perfect. That's great, I think it's a really good idea. I'm definitely in favor of it. I also wonder if in the meantime, we cannot just do the option 3 as well. And just not do any, because we don't have any established yearly ones, annual ones that we do throughout the year, really. And so it may look like cherry picking if some are done or not, so to give staff time. I would probably do that as a second motion, if that's favorable, or if, I don't know, put it out there for discussion. So on the first motion, which is to direct staff to develop a proclamation policy, any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And I would make the motion that until such a policy is finalized by this council, that we don't do any, because I don't want to be cherry picking these things and it gives staff to just time to concentrate on the policy and not answering all of these and including them all on the agenda. So I'll make that motion.
Second that.
Any questions or comments on that discussion?
That's reasonable.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. All right, fire department report. Any questions or comments through staff?
I'll just have 2 cents. If you don't mind.
Please.
So what are we down to? We're down to how many active? 6 members active. We were at 17, I believe. Is that the correct number? So what is what can we do to retain these people?
I'll take a stab at that. Further on our agenda is an actual report to do it. Yeah, right. So that's one of the strategies.
Wait till that comes up. Talk this over. It's kind of all one subject.
Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, accept the report and then do that at the, either way, it doesn't matter, we can do it now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the fire department has a realization of what, needs to be done, and so they're trying to move through that as fairly rapidly and with as much forethought as possible.
Right.
I know that volunteers needed is always on the Village Voice, there's signs on the fire department, but other than that, we need to understand what the barriers are, why people aren't.
Mm-hmm. So,
or was that a question through to staff?
No, it was just to put out there for
Okay.
everybody. I know it was on, I read through it somewhere here, so.
Mhm.
And 17 to 6 is like pretty drastic, right? I mean, that's and one of the hardest things we dealt with so far since I've been a counselor is having to close the fire department. And so I want to bring that up now and talk about it, because I don't want to have to go through that again. And I don't want this community to have to go through that again. So if there's something we can do to help this, I really like to look into that. I mean, I gotta think there's some incentive there in paying if we can figure out how to pay our firefighters to train and to be at meetings. I think that's enough incentive to keep some of them going. I know some of them personally, and I think they would like to get paid. I think that would help them. And like we all, have a little incentive going. I mean, we just brought ourselves as counselors, or potentially the next council, we bumped them up to be able to feel good about what they're making with their job and what they're, so it doesn't feel like so much a volunteer, right? And if that's a possibility, maybe we could find somehow to get some help, some grant money or maybe some money from other interests in the fire department that could help us to supplement. I don't think it has to be a huge salary even. I think if there was like, say, $25 an hour, or something like that, then it's just a small incentive. And to say at the end, I spoke about this before, I think too, in Ontario, the volunteer fire department gets paid, right? Like my friend has done this his whole life and he has a family and he was able to put together an extra $600 or $800 a month or something to supplement taking care of his family by being a volunteer firefighter, right? And I think there's a lot of merit in that. So if anybody's got any other ideas, I'm open to hear them also.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Oh, Councillor Deb,
Um,
sorry, I can't see if you've got your hand raised or not, so, yeah, yeah,
I do.
it's
Yeah.
just hard to see on the wall here, so thank you for speaking up.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Personally, I think we should start with a newsletter or some information for people to understand the problems we're having. Because I have the feeling that half the people in this area don't even know we're down to 6. So maybe if we rattle their cage a little bit to start with, then after that, I'm with Councillor Janice. We should give them some kind of reward to do it. I don't know what that would be, how much. If when you get called out, you get paid for something, I don't know. But we have to let people know for sure that we're in dire straits here.
Thank you for that. I'm wondering in the interim or while the kind of survey process is going on, if we can't maybe release some stats or something in the Village Voice that would help bring attention to something like that, release the stats, the membership, how we've come to where we are a little bit more maybe in the Village Voice. That's something we could direct staff to do. And then also we can also discuss, available grants or dollars for fire departments and things like that. That's really a budget discussion though. So that would have to come back to budget. And that would be something that we would have to direct staff to, have a look into, see what was available for what kind of activities and for including our emergency program or through the SRD, through that admin, a kind of function, anything that, would be helpful to us to kind of get to that point. But that's definitely a budget discussion and a getting staff to kind of look into. I don't think they have any. I will give it over to staff for any, comments that they'd like to make or things that they know are available. But that's really a research project as far as, so through to staff.
Thank you. So typically, paying for volunteers isn't included in grant funding. It's very, very difficult to find. It's usually put towards either policies or hard goods or projects of some sort. I can reach out to the director of the protective services of the SRD. He's been very good at finding financial funding for different aspects of the fire department. So there may be a source that I'm unaware of. However, coupled with that would have to be some sort of policy and obviously a cap on what each individual can make over the course of a year and what an appropriate input into the volunteer position is to receive some sort of stipend.
Mm-hmm. So then maybe my suggestion going forward, hearing all of that, which, go ahead, is yeah, grants don't pay for people. That's really maybe this should be a committee of the whole discussion. If that's agreeable to everybody, that we can get some background information from staff first about if there's anything that anybody knows of for any grants or kind of like that. Looking at our budget, seeing what kind of policies exist elsewhere, those kinds of activities, so that we can have a really good discussion and have some background information on that. Does that sound like a reasonable way forward? I do know that there's consideration for, like, they do get tax rebates and things like that. Some members are not, that doesn't do any good for them. That's not a rebate that they need to have. They maybe make under the minimum or to get that, or to for that to be useful for them. So maybe there's something that can be done with that. I'm looking into the dollars that they get from tax rebates, maybe it could be included. Yeah, so does that sound like, because it's not a decision we're gonna make here tonight, right? We need to have more information on that.
So I just looked it up a little bit. It's very common. And it's 18 to 24 per hour for the duration of call out, as well as for attending mandatory weekly training. And it's as close as Campbell River this happens. So I mean, I guess, and I agree with what Mayor Coburn said, is like, yeah, maybe some people don't need it, but as a recruitment tool, I think it's got a lot of merit, you know, for somebody who, like, there's not a lot of employment in Zeballos, and there's not a lot of ways to have a side gig and make a couple extra dollars. And I think there's people who did hear that could be a good tool. So thank you. And we can, yeah, if you want to do it to a cow for further discussion, I mean, I suggest we start talking about it soon and figure something out before we get ourselves in another position. So
Perfect, thanks. And I wasn't saying that nobody needed money. I was talking about the tax rebate that the province gives. Not the dollar amount. I wasn't.
No, I was thinking more, I thought you meant like some people don't need it.
No, not at all. The tax rebate, sometimes if you don't make enough, if you're making a minimum or under a specific amount, then that tax break doesn't necessarily do much for them. Do you know what I mean? So talking about the provincial, what the province gives already as a recruitment and retention tool, including that information in there, just to do some kind of comparables. Maybe there's a comparable to that for people who are in a lower tax bracket or something like that, right? Just as much information as we could get. Sound reasonable going forward? Okay. Oh. Councillor Deck, do you have, sorry, it's really hard
okay.
to see in here, so you have to just speak up for me, please.
Yes. I would like to speak
Thank you for that, sir.
And up.
up. I like the road you're going down there, Mayor. But mostly important, I think our CAO is a pretty good scrounge. We need some money. We have to find some money to make it worth their while. So I would like to direct the CAO through the chair to find us some money for the fire department. Thank you.
I'm sure he will work with whatever networks he can to see what is available to us for this. And to see also where in our budget it can be done. We have done significant raises to council and mayor. This year we are at a 30,000. We've had some issues with tax influx. So yeah, it will be a cutting of other things probably to make this happen, but it's a discussion worth having. So thanks for that. You have enough that you can kind of formulate a report on.
You probably could just get a resolution to push this to a committee of the whole.
Perfect. I will make that resolution that we talk about recruitment and retention of volunteer members and all that entails, including monetary bonus or monetary payments for a committee of the whole discussion. would it muddy it if I add and further that, I'm asking for kind of, if you want it as a secondary motion to include some stats and some information in the Village Voice on that, or is that just a staff direction?
We can just do that.
Okay, so I won't add that then, but yeah, let's get some good information out to the community about what kind of position we are in. So the motion was about the monetary, move that to a committee of the whole, find us some money, look at grants and what can we move around in our budget. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. All right, so Councillor Lewis?
I just wanted to ask about the recommended motion. Can I still not follow?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was just the stats report.
Okay.
So yeah. So included, so the next item is our community services or fire department attraction and retention strategy. So staff has worked with the fire department to work with the neighboring nation because we are losing and are in a pretty good spot. So there's been, decreasing attendance, difficulty attracting, and I think that they want to put in a survey. And I think that I read in their report they were going to do multiple kind of levels of that. They were going to do some door-to-door things. They were running, so these are all going to go forward to protective services here in the community locally.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the introduction. Comments, questions on the report, or if somebody wants to move any of the recommended motions, or this is the time for that. Councillor Lewis.
I think we kind of went through it already, right?
Councillor Lewis.
I recommend motion that staff in collaboration with the Hatsat Chinnikit First Nation develop and release community-wide surveys in relation to Zeballos volunteer firefighting services to obtain insights into community views on the service provided and better the municipality on future attraction and retention policies and actions forward.
Perfect, thank you for that. And included in this survey is talk about remuneration. It covers, it's a really comprehensive, so really thank you for staff for putting this together with the fire department, because I think these are the questions that need to be answered.
Yeah.
What are the barriers? Why are you not, how does that work? So any other further comments from council? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that's carried. Oh, shoot, I should have asked, did you have any kind of clue on timeline about when they would do this?
It will be in relation to a conversation with
Okay, awesome, thank you. Can you just let us know?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so now we have, is there anything else that you guys want to see on those, or is that something that, would you welcome any comments about that?
Absolutely.
So if anybody has anything now, that's fine. If not, if something comes to your brain that you think that should be added to this, would you let staff know? Or is there anything that came up for anybody, Councillor Lewis?
I can't remember if it was in there or not. I did read through it. The problems that may rise with people's house insurance if there was no fire department. If there is not enough members, was that
Not sure if we have it. I'll make a note to make sure that we do have insurance.
because that is a big thing that would highlight, I think, for a lot of homeowners.
But in here,
I don't remember seeing it.
no, I don't either, actually.
And I know we discussed it at our managers meeting, but I might not have included it, so I'll make sure that it's
Okay. Perfect, thank you for that. And yeah, if we're thinking of anything, get it forwarded to staff, so they can either include it or at least have the discussion about it with okay, so that is so we're on to the Public Works Operations Report. It is in front of you. Was there any questions or comments? We don't have the stuff over here this evening, but I'm sure that staff can feed any questions or comments through to that. Seeing none. I would like to, one thing I would like for you to put through to staff is that, the recognition that, yes, this is the start of their busy season. The village looks really good. And I think that the mowing takes a long time and as that greening process is happening, but it really motivates others. I think everybody doing it, motivates others to be in that kind of, because, oh, doesn't that look nice? And then, it begets maybe some less sightly premises to do the same thing and do work. I noticed a lot of people with the good weather have been out and gardening, so I just wanted to put props through to staff that it looks good. Okay, so CAO operations, monthly operations report. Staff's here to answer any questions. Anything come up from anybody? I have 3. Well, I have so first one, I follow up with Minister of State Brittany Anderson regarding the Zeballos visit. Have we had an answer yet?
No answer, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We'll discuss that.
I have reached out to provincial staff.
Perfect.
Yes, to see further information.
Yeah.
On how our correspondence is received.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's great. I also wanted to give you congratulations on your becoming president of the VI LGMA. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And then the other thing that I wanted to do was remind council. So upcoming work next steps in the office. There is the 2025 annual report happening. We've had a request from staff via email to include any information you want included about yourself in that. So please make sure to get those through directly. That report has to be released by the 15th. 13th of June. So that's not a whole lot of time. So if you have anything to add to those, please submit them immediately. Councilor
Hello.
Yeah.
It's me. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Yes, question to the CAO through the chair. Does the new regional district bylaw compliance officer 6'4" and 260 pounds, and does he have a big stick he carries with him? Or is he just going to look at things and go home?
Thank you. I don't have a description. It's Mackenzie Grant is the name of the bylaw officer, and so far has done a stunning job with some of the files that we have open.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else for anybody? General election. So this is an election year. It is already June, folks, almost. So got a staff report about the election officer appointments, which we must do well ahead of the nomination period. They've got a breakdown of some of the fees associated with it. And that we have to do this through the Local Government Act. It's one of our requirements. So there's a couple of motions in there. Councilor Lewis.
Can they be read concurrently or separately?
Council's choice.
Freedom, go ahead.
Okay. Recommend that Pete Nelson Smith be appointed as Chief Election Officer for the 2026 general local election in Zeballos, and that Alana Janice be appointed as Deputy Chief Election Officer in the 2026 general local election in Zeballos.
I'll second that.
Perfect. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
That is carried, and our bylaws included in there, and that was just included for information's sake, correct? Good. We have some UBCM stuff coming as well. So that's our next topic, is the UBCM convention and minister meetings. We go down to UBCM every year. We have been asked, and CAO Nelson Smith and I were talking about how early it seems this year that they're getting these minister meeting recommendations out. So In front of us is, some things that, staff and through my conversations with them and I'm sure some of yours and some of the issues that we have, would be, recommendations for ministers' meetings. We also have a recommendation, that, 3 books rooms have been booked, and so we need to know who is coming. So this is here for your perusal. There's a Ministry of Forest one, Environment, Parks, Public Safety, Indigenous Relations, Transportation, and then a staff one for BC Hydro. So I don't know if we want to go through them, if you want to, how you want to do that, but I think if the list is fair and looks comprehensive, then that's great. If anybody has any additions that they'd like to see or found anything wrong with any of these requests, then now would be the time to speak. Hearing none, there are recommendations that are included. It could be that so-and-so attend the 20th UBCM conference, and that the meetings are requested as per the staff report. Any questions or comments from council? Recommendation?
I got nothing.
I don't see any changes necessary.
Okay, and then who's going?
Does this have to be decided tonight?
It's on here for our review, yeah, for sure. I mean, we can put it off to, we can't put the ministers' meetings off. We can put off who's gonna go.
Yeah.
We can't put the ministers' meetings off. That has to be done this evening.
I think that we should
Put it off?
do that exactly. Decide together on the meetings and let everybody retreat and think about who's gonna be going.
Okay, so I would like to suggest then that because of hotel bookings and all of those, when would be the latest date that you would want that information about who was going? Should we give like a week's notice, a week's allowance for people to consider and get their schedules out to us?
I'll leave that to council's discretion. UBCM is so popular that even, a couple of weeks before the conference, if we have an extra room, we'll be able to sell it off, so.
Okay, so we're not worried about selling it off.
No,
No, we're just worried. We don't want to get into a situation like ADIC, that all of a sudden, like, yeah. So, if you can get replies back to the CAO within a week, then I would be in favor of that, of putting that off. And so that would require nope, we don't have to do that. We can just make the motion that says that the minister meetings included in the staff report dated May 26th be requested. So I would make that motion, because then that solves that piece. Is there a seconder for that?
Second.
Thanks.
A second.
All right, and then, please get back to us within like a week to let us know what because we'll have to do, or no, I guess we'll have to ratify it at the next regular meeting, so that puts us off until the June meeting.
correct.
All right, please be prepared next time. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. So, can you add that then to the next edition or the next agenda? Thank you, the next regular agenda. All right.
So I suggest that 3 of us at this table are planning on going to this.
I can.
I've been working, so
I mean, I go, but somebody has to present, go to the ministers' meetings.
Okay.
I mean, we can do that right now, that Mayor Colburn attend the 2026 UBCM conference. I'm absolutely down for that. And then put it on the agenda if there's others that can be included.
I'll check it out.
Excuse me, Mayor. Mayor, can I
Counselor-
butt in?
Sorry, please do. Thank you for saying
Yes.
something.
What are the dates for this convention?
September
I'm
14th.
October
September
4th?
14th, sir.
September 14th, and it's in Vancouver? September.
Yes.
Okay, put my name down.
Okay, there we go.
Thanks for that, folks. So that Councillor Deck and Councillor Colburn attend the 2026 UBCM conference on behalf of the Village of Zeballos.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. To that topic, I wanted to ask a question of this council. There is a process where you can do motions from the floor at EDCM. We didn't have any, yeah,
Thank you. We can actually submit resolutions up until June 14th.
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got until June 14th, and I'm wondering if there's any desire from this council to have a motion from the floor presented at UBCM. The reason that I ask is because we have had resolutions go through to UBCM about, you know, our regional person that could help us, but we seem to have a lot of trouble with communications with the province right now. And so I think that it's noteworthy, and it may be something that we ask staff to work on a resolution around that. In my conversations with the CAO, you know, when we asked about having a regional kind of person who would direct us to the right person at the right ministries, they booted us to municipal affairs. They said, please contact someone in municipal affairs. That doesn't solve the issue though, because municipal affairs people are not here regional and may not have the correct contacts. So what's happening is, for instance, which was the piece of correspondence, Brittany, when we were talking to Minister Brittany Anderson, and requesting her to come here, we send correspondence and then it goes into the ether. Is there a better way of doing that? So I'm wondering if we could get staff to kind of look at a resolution from the floor about correspondence direction, and having some local connections, or is there specific taglines? Like, we need to know the process. What do they do with this correspondence? Do they do what we do? They just let it sit in the box and file it and don't answer it? Or do they pull out the ones that they want? Like, what? I don't understand why we have such an issue right now. There seems to be more response earlier, and this year staff's running into a real problem. So is there an appetite from the staff or from our council to help staff and maybe put a resolution in that relates to that? Or would we rather just leave it alone? Like, there's no minister in particular to get a meeting with about that. That's more of like a, you know, the resolution could look like that the province what did we say? We said that the province direct staff's email province. So can you help me? I know we discussed this. Thank you, CAO, for me.
The resolution that I would recommend is that the province prioritize correspondence from local governments over general correspondence.
Right? Something like that. Just a very general, you know. If there's any interest, we can get staff to come back to us with something. If there isn't any interest, then there isn't. I just thought I'd put that out over having a UBCM conversation. What are we thinking? We're good with just the meetings?
I think we're good with that.
It's obviously an issue. So yeah, Who would present it then to you?
You would just get up and present it off the floor.
Oh, okay.
CAO.
Actually, we can submit a resolution much like we did to ABICC, so,
Okay,
yeah, I would, submit it via email to their, resolutions staff.
and then it would go within their resolutions book.
Yeah, or, yeah,
Or if it was a late resolution, then it would be a resolution from the floor.
that's correct, yeah.
What's the process?
Right, right.
So we've got a no and a yes. Councillor Deck, how are your feelings on this? At least that's what I'm hearing.
I don't think he's there.
Okay.
It was his face and now it's not.
I feel it should be.
I feel like it's pretty important too, and anything we can help with staff to get our staff with to get their correspondence answered is great, right? I mean, or at least prioritize. At least maybe what we can do is get, maybe let's start staff to see, have you reached out about how they process correspondence yet?
Thank you. Yes, I just last week reached out to municipal affairs to ask exactly that question. And then I've also reached out to UBCM, one of their staff members, to find out if they know. So I've sort of doubled up
Okay,
trying to seek that solution, because we have council correspondence that has gone to ministries as far back as December with multiple reminders, and we haven't received
any response?
any response, not even a thank you, we'll take it under consideration.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Which is, yeah, we can't, when we direct staff to do things on our behalf, and then staff goes and writes like, you know, or the mayor writes or whatever, and then just to get zero responses is kind of, these are issues that are arising in our community that we're asking for help on, we're asking for advice on, we need more information on, and we get nothing back.
Pretty deflating.
It is super deflating, so,
Very defeating.
It's the game, right?
Councillor Jack, do you think that's worth pursuing or no? Were you with us or did you just come back online?
I just came back online.
Okay, so what I put to council was a wonder if we wanted to submit a resolution to UBCM regarding the province prioritizing local government correspondence over just regular inbox correspondence, because we're coming up against some pretty deflating non-responses from the province when we are trying to ask them questions or get staff to get more information on our behalf. CAO,
Yeah,
oh, sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
for the previous one. The more information we can get, the better.
Okay, so let's get you to get some information for us. We'll put that, when's our next? The 16th. It has to be in by the 15th?
Correct.
Can we do that via email? Get us some information on what that resolution would look like and a little bit of background on it. And then we'll do that via email. Because it seems like there's 2 or 3 of us that kind of, you know, think that it's, yeah. Okay, so that's just a step. That's all that is. Okay, so we've got oh my goodness, we're ready to go on camera. So
Oh my goodness.
that council, I'm gonna make this motion because I've got all these agenda items added. So I'll make a motion that council go in camera under the community charter under 91 C, labor relations and other employee relations. 91J or 91I, the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. And 91J, information that's prohibited or information that was presented in a document from disclosure under section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act.
Second that.
Thank you for that. Questions? All in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? That is carried. Public question period and comments. So we have someone in the gallery this evening. Please state your name and any questions or comments you may have relating to our agenda.
Okay, Lorna Welch, and I live in this community, the outside of the community hall. How about that? I'd like to know if this dental thing, is that seeking free dental care for children, or is it sort of all the people?
I believe that it's a National Day of Awareness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know what that really meant.
Mhm.
Okay, and this quad business is kind of disturbing because the quads go up down that road like so fast that, you know, you're driving along and you have to stop. And that's the dust settle, and they don't seem to be bothered by it, but it is scary. And there's been a few bears. I've spotted a few bears along the road, and I think some of these people might be bear hunters and hunting along, carrying guns with them. And who knows if they're, you know, not shooting down the road. I see a bear, or is it a car? I think they'll shoot it anyway. But anyway, I'd like to see people wearing helmets in their quads. Even old ladies on bicycles should wear helmets, and I do. Okay, it's good to know, and good to see that this guy is worried about our operation in town with police officer.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that their added, traffic control kind of thing is includes all of those kinds of things. So that's good. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Lauren.
attending.
Lorna,
Keep holding the fort.
Yes.
if you see a bear though, that is riding upon, then take a picture.
I will.
Thank you. That's worth reporting.
Thanks for your
I'm gonna
attendance.
have to take a picture of that.
Yeah,
Okay,
do it.
See you, Laura. Good night.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? Perfect.